As the MK party, we are interested in genuine and real transformation of South Africa. This cannot simply mean having a nice, toothless constitution or so-called world's best constitution. We are not and can never be satisfied with our judges regurgitating Roman law, which was imported into this country through the genocidal force and forced down our throats. When we were colonized, we had our own systems of justice in place. African customary law, which is close to our heart. Colonization brought with it a foreign legal system, Roman Dutch law, and this was done in order to protect and preserve the interests of those who colonize us. I challenge you to tell me a single country in Europe which is governed by African law. A single country in Europe which is governed by African law. If you can't tell me, why do we allow Roman Dutch law, which does not reflect the views and the aspirations of the majority of the people in this country? Why do we allow that to be a system in place? Why?
Probably you have heard multiple times that South Africa has the best constitution in the world. But my question is, if someone is the best, why don't you learn from that particular person? Because most of the people who are saying all these things are people from other countries. So if they think South Africa has the best constitution, why can they adopt the very same constitution in their own country? Because they can just copy it and edit it and then implement it, because it is the best constitution in the world. But here is the thing. These people are just manipulating the minds of the Africans so that you can believe that everything that comes from your heart, everything that comes from your culture, everything that comes from your society cannot do anything, cannot develop, cannot protect people, cannot develop that particular nation. This is what is happening. And I think you have heard multiple times whereby people will tell you that African way of doing things is outdated, is ancient, it cannot develop Africa. In other words, we are living in the past, we are living in the old times, and etc. and etc. This is where many people have lost confidence, because the moment you come up with something that is connected to the ancient times, that is connected to African culture, in most cases, many people will say that one is outdated, that one cannot be implemented at all because it won't develop us, but instead of developing, it will take us back. This is the mentality that they are using. That is why when we get something or when we receive something from other countries, we immediately implement it. We immediately implement it because we believe that those people are intelligent, those people are wise, those people are developing, those people are experienced, and so forth and so forth. And again, probably you have heard multiple times that South Africans or Africans cannot handle the land, cannot develop the land, cannot manage agriculture, and so forth and so forth. So this is a manipulative strategy. This is a manipulative tactic to make you not to believe in yourself, to make you to always have a low self-esteem, because if you have low self-esteem, then other people will be able to capitalize on that so that they can benefit on your self-esteem, or so that they can benefit through your low self-esteem. This is something which is necessary, something which is very important that we need to put into consideration. Dr. Hlophe here asked a $1 million question, which country in Europe is governed by African culture or African law? Absolutely none. Absolutely none. But we have this mentality, we have this mindset that everything that comes from us, everything that comes from Africans is outdated and it cannot work. Africa didn't start like 100 years ago or 200 years ago. That is why Africa is not called motherland for nothing. About 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, more than 10,000 years ago, there were people who were living in Africa, and those people had a justice system. Those people had laws. And the very same laws can be used to solve the problems of Africa. We should not think that African law is useless, because if you think that African law is useless, then it means you think you yourself, if you're an African, you are useless. This thing is more psychological than you can imagine. That is why people should be emancipated from mental slavery. People should be freed from low self-esteem, because I believe that spiritually, to have a low self-esteem is a crime. To doubt yourself is a crime. So that is why we have to bring African law that will produce multiple acts, and those acts should be implemented in businesses, should be implemented in government, should be implemented in society. In other words, African law should be used to govern Africa, to govern South Africa, to govern all departments or all sectors. It can be private sector, it can be public sector, and so forth and so forth. But the leaders of Africa don't want to implement African laws, but instead they always use African laws as something which is unimportant, something which is not necessary. Why? Because psychologically they are damaged. That is why I always say that letter which King Leopold II wrote in the year 18 something, it was very powerful and strategic. Many people were manipulated psychologically. Many people were manipulated emotionally and otherwise. That is why they don't believe that anything that comes out of them can be good. That is why even if you are rich, you still need someone outside to tell you how to manage your riches. You still expect that person from outside to pay you a salary. I will appreciate if you can just smash the subscribe button, smash that like button like never before.